Hello, Internet. My name is Leeroy, and I'm looking for answers to life's biggest mysteries. If you wait just a second, I'll tell you all about D.B. Cooper.
Dang it, Billy Bob.
Welcome back, Internet. Everyone's making documentaries about D.B. Cooper. Netflix has one coming out this week. So, alright, let's talk about D.B. Cooper. Most of y'all know the official story about D.B. Cooper. It's the only unsolved case of air piracy in U.S. history. On November 24, 1971, a man boarded a Boeing 747 bound from Portland to Seattle using a ticket he bought under the name of Dan Cooper. Claiming he had a bomb, he hijacked the plane and held the passengers and crew for ransom. He asked for 4 parachutes and $200,000 in $20 bills. That's over $1 million by today's money. When the plane landed in Seattle, he let the passengers go, but he kept the plane and the crew and told them to head to Mexico. When the plane had landed in Reno to refuel, Cooper had vanished. Most believed he jumped out from the rear stairs somewhere over Washington State. The media came to call the unidentified man D.B. Cooper. The FBI launched what would become one of the longest and most exhaustive investigations in its entire history. Everyone wanted to know who D.B. Cooper was and whether he survived jumping out of the back of the plane. D.B. Cooper was kind of a big deal. He quickly became a folk hero as a modern-day pirate. They called him a criminal mastermind. I don't know about that. What kind of a mastermind wears loafers and a clip-on tie to jump out of the back of an airplane? People did have a lot of speculation about whether he lived through jumping out of a 747, but because none of that money turned up in circulation, the FBI figured Cooper didn't survive the jump. 9 years later, some of the loot, about $6,000 in total, was found along the Columbia River north of Portland, and that just fueled more speculation. No one knew what became of D.B. Cooper or even who he was. The FBI had some suspects and everyone had a theory, but they were able to rule out most of them. I was talking to some folks who think D.B. Cooper might have been Forrest Fenn, the Vietnam pilot who hid a treasure chest in the Rocky Mountains. This is on account of a guy claiming to be D.B. Cooper who wrote a book in the 1980s, and that had a treasure hunt in it to find the missing $200,000. They figured that treasure hunt was like a prequel to Forrest Fenn's treasure hunt for the gold. He looks enough like him, and he was the right age, and his good friend and author, Douglas Preston, he wrote a book with D.B. Cooper in it recently. I mean, I guess so, but I got a different take on it. Problem is, D.B. Cooper looked like your basic everyday dude. He looked like if you took the dad from Brady Bunch back before he got a perm, stuck him in a black suit and put him on an airplane. Or maybe Sean Connery as James Bond, but not him, his uglier stunt double. He could have been anybody. If you had an Uncle Bill in your family, you were probably wondering how Uncle Bill got to Portland so quick and why your sunglasses were missing. Everybody and their grandmother was suspecting D.B. Cooper might be someone they know. I think they were all wrong. I think D.B. Cooper was an alien. Hold on, I got reasons. Sometimes aliens got to pass as humans, and they ain't got but the one disguise. You ever hear of Men in Black? Well, that's what D.B. Cooper was. Men in Black are aliens pretending to be humans. The hijacking was just a smokescreen. I think D.B. Cooper was trying to get back home. Earlier in May of that year, a man visited the Vermilion River Radio Observatory near Danville, Illinois, to view the big dish antenna they used to look for extraterrestrials. This guy noticed an object in the sky approaching the facility. He saw what he said was a large black object, like burned metal, larger than the 120-foot radio dish. He said it kind of had a humming noise to it. There were no lights on its surface and it spun like a top. The object quickly disappeared into the night sky. It was a UFO. This is a true story. You can Google it. Here's where it gets interesting. He reported what he had seen to the authorities, and eventually the Air Force heard about it, and they took it upon themselves to investigate. The government had been investigating UFO sightings since 1947 on account of the thousands of strange things seen in the sky by people all over the country. The Air Force called it Project Blue Book. Well, the really strange thing is that Project Blue Book officially closed down in 1969. This UFO sighting at the Vermilion River Radio Observatory, it was in 1971. Why did the Air Force take a special interest in a UFO sighting 2 years after the Air Force investigations had officially ended. I think it's because this was the real deal. I think that UFO was there to meet D.B. Cooper. Bet you can't guess what day the Air Force came calling. Yup. On the morning of November 24th, 1971, Chanute Air Force Base sent investigators to interview the man who had seen the UFO and seized the photos he had taken. Later that same day, D.B. Cooper boarded a plane in Portland. I don't think that's a coincidence. I bet you D.B. Cooper caught wind of this government investigation and had to get off the planet quick before they could hunt him down. Maybe the only way he could get back on a spaceship was from an airplane, and he needed a way to clear all the passengers out first, so he devised the skyjacking. I think back in May, he was just using the big radio dish to phone home. His alien buddy showed up to pick him up, but for some reason the tractor beam wasn't working, and they couldn't beam him up, so they had to leave him on Earth and come back for him later. Over the next couple of months, D.B. Cooper, he made a short-range transmitter or whatchamacallit to call the UFO. That's what was in his briefcase. It weren't no bomb. Problem is, it only worked if you were already up in the sky. You know, short range. I ain't got the proof, but I'm pretty sure this is where Steven Spielberg got the idea for the movie E.T. Of course, he had to change a few things around so you didn't know it was a true story about D.B. Cooper, but I think the stories match up. 6 months later, after D.B. Cooper disappeared, the Air Force contacted the guy who saw the UFO and gave him his photos back. But they didn't offer any explanation for what he had seen. Later, a concerned citizen contacted the Chanute Air Force Base about their involvement with the report, but the information officer responded that there was no investigation, and there was no report. That there is a cover-up. I know what you're thinking. You thinking, Leeroy, D.B. Cooper wasn't no alien. You show your pie hole. I'm telling you, these things are facts. Ain't nobody at Netflix going to tell you the real truth about Steven Spielberg and how he stole the story for E.T. You got to do the research. I bet you think Jaws was about a shark. Hey, this is Leeroy. Hope you like my video. I got more coming for you soon, so don't forget to hit like and subscribe. And ring that bell for notifications. Let me know what you're thinking down in the comments. Holler at you later.